Welcome to another episode of Rare Connection, where we explore challenges, breakthroughs, and stories of those living with rare diseases. I'm your host, Joanna, and this month we are raising awareness for homocystinuria as part of our October's focus. Today, I'm joined by Erika, the mother of 24-year-old adult Alexa, who lives with classical homocystinuria. Because Erika's daughter, Alexa, is nonverbal, Erika will be speaking on her behalf, sharing their unique journey. Their conversation will touch on important topics like newborn screening and the Medical Nutrition Equity Act, which was recently reintroduced into the U.S. House of Representatives. We are still looking for a Senate Republican to sponsor to help bring the crucial bill to the Senate floor. If passed, the act would ensure access to essential medical foods, formula, and vitamins for those who need them nationwide. Before we dive in, a quick but important note. While we aim to provide valuable information, nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Please consult with your healthcare professional before making any decisions related to your care or the care of a loved one. Thank you for joining us today. Could you start by telling us about Alexa's diagnosis? How old was she when you first learned she had classical homocystinuria?
I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, Alexa was born in Mexico City. We're from Mexico City. And unfortunately in Mexico, like in all countries, United States and Latin Americans, we do not unfortunately have, when they're born, they're not, sometimes 20 years ago, 24 years ago, they didn't actually look for these syndromes. They did everything. She was born, I had to have a C-section at the end of my trial. And when she came out, everything seemed perfect. Everything, she was like a regular baby. They did the test that they were supposed to do. And when everything was everything was good. When she was 8 months old, I saw one of her eyes going inward. And I took her to an ophthalmologist over there. They told me everything was going to be perfect. She was not going to be, it was like only the nose, that the babies were like little born with very high in her nose, that nothing was going to happen. When Alexa turned 2, she did everything. She walked, she crawled when she had to crawl. She slept, she ate perfectly. Everything was normal. Up to that point, we thought everything was good. Alexa was my first daughter. We had babies in the house, but my nephews were 10 years older than Alexa, so we really didn't have any where to go, what difference, because we were see that she was talking. She said mom when she had to say, she said dada when she had to say it, everything perfect. When she was 2 years old, I put her in a daycare. Going into the daycare, the director of the daycare had told me, listen, something is wrong with her. I don't think must have something. As a first-time mom, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, what does my daughter have? So we started doing research for, like, we thought she was deaf. We thought something. But every time we said her name, every time we talked to her, she would listen and she would smile at us. So we were like, something is wrong, but we didn't know what. We did this literally, I did speech therapy because she wasn't talking like other kids. She was babbling like a baby. So we're like, something's wrong. Something must be wrong. Everybody's telling me. Then we started seeing. I took her to another ophthalmologist because I lost touch with the one that I did when she was 8 months. This happened when she was almost 3 years old. They put glasses, and we're like, why does she need the glasses? Nobody told me of anything. We kept on putting. In Mexico, they did studies, but nothing came up. I went to her doctor, regular doctor. Everything was perfect. We could not find anything with Alexa. Nothing whatsoever. When suddenly, one time, the glasses broke. This is how I found out. Her glasses broke. And we took her again to another ophthalmologist. This is the third time we have taken her to an ophthalmologist. And that's when we discovered something was wrong. I didn't, like a mom, I did not stop in 1 and 3. I took her again to the first ophthalmologist when she was 8 months old. He was very kind. He said, yes, there's something wrong. I do not want to alarm you. Let's see. We sat down. It literally took us like 2 hours, like an hour and a half. And we literally went through a list of things, of syndromes that we thought, or he thought, something could be wrong. He just said, I hope it's not this one because this one is deadly. That's how he referred it to. We went back. We took blood tests that we have never had done since she was born. In looking for a specific syndromes, because it was different syndromes. They thought it was Marfan. They thought it was literally, it was 20 different syndromes. We went back. I was going to come to Miami because my grandmother lived here. And we came to Miami. I did the blood work. I left it in Mexico. Did that, finished that. The doctor called me. And he actually said, listen, your daughter has this rare syndrome called homocystinuria. Go look. Back in the days, 24 years ago, there were no computers. Nobody had really a computer at the house. We went to the library to check to see what was this syndrome. He said, you are very lucky to be in Miami because the number one doctor that had back in the days just went from Boston to Miami to live, to open this. Go look for him. I had to search this doctor. I had to search everything. We finally got to that doctor. He was here in University of Miami, the hospital. We went to him, and literally everybody was very, very nice. They talked to me, he talked to me. He said, listen, by the time Alexa was ready, 4.5 years old to 5. Nobody knew about this syndrome. He even said, Alexa is literally the first little human that has this syndrome in Miami. We were all over the newspaper. We were trying to do the researchers. Back in the days, it was the Miami Herald. He was in everything. We put it up. We started, juggling. He's like, listen, we have these 2 formulas to give to the doctor. Thankfully, and I'm very pleased and I'm very happy that I had the reforce with my parents, my family, everybody pitched in because the medications and everything was very expensive. We didn't have insurance. We didn't have anything. I was a resident. I wasn't a citizen. So I didn't know what, We went back to Mexico. We kept on going back and forth. They told us, he explained to me what homocystinuria was. He even told me, take a lot of pictures. Because back in that time, I think her blood levels were literally like 2,000, almost 2,000 something, 3,000. They had told me Alexa was not going to live. She literally had 15 days or 10 days to live because if I kept on doing what I was doing regular, giving her food, regular food, everything. How I did it, because back in the days I got divorced from her father. I went to live with my parents. My mom and I literally, we came back to Miami. We lived here in Miami. We became citizens of the United States. It was how I did it. I go from levels through the protein. I check everything out, the whole Publix, the supermarkets. I just check the proteins. It has to be, I literally only give her less than 6 grams, 7 grams of protein. I don't give her anything else. And her protein, thankfully, has been up and down. It went from literally that time when she was 5. I think from 2000 or something, I lowered it down because I did not go out. I cooked at home for her. I did everything for months, and I lowered her levels down. Once Alexa has been going on, yes, I went to Medicaid in Miami. I have good insurance. Medicaid helped me a lot. I get her medications. She has her medications. He has her doctor every 6 months, every 3 months, every 2 months. Every time they tell me to get blood work, I get the blood work. And we go from there to do diet. She's a vegetarian completely. She does not eat fish. She doesn't eat meat. She doesn't eat nothing. If I give her something, it's like literally Philadelphia cheese, and that's it. I don't give anything else. She eats pasta, but it has to be less than 6 grams of protein. I don't give her milk is the rice milk or the rare type of milks. It's like that's how I've been able to manage her. Alexa, unfortunately, I still think she has something else because when I went to the group in Boston that they had for the Homocystinuria people, that I had never met one because in Miami it wasn't. I think there's 2 or 3 here in Florida, but I have never met them. Or more, I don't know. I have never met them again. So when I went to the conference at, I forgot her name right now, that they did in Boston, I met a lot of people. I met a lot of families with homosexuality. Alexa hasn't had any seizures. She hasn't had anything else except her eyes. That the lens is dislocated completely, and her verbal. She talks like a 2-year-old, 3. She understands everything, and she tells me the only problem that I have sometimes is by learning if she's sick, like if she has a headache, if she has a stomach ache, but everything else I could communicate with her, and she lets me, she tells me what she wants or what she doesn't want. I'm still struggling because she's, like I said, 24. She's 5'7". I have to bathe her. She never learned. I taught her, but she never learned. I have to bathe her like a baby, brush her teeth. She goes to the bathroom by herself. She cleans herself. But everything else, it's me or somebody else that helps me out. And up to right now, her levels of protein, they're good. They're literally very good. And that's my journey. That's how I have to live, and I've been living with for 24 years.
Okay. So, how old was she when you found out that she had classical homocystinuria?
When she was 4 years old.
How do you communicate with Alexa? Do you use pictures? Do you use body language? Do you write with her? How do you communicate with her?
How do I communicate with her? No, she understands. She understands. How do I know that she understands? Right. Because she, like, if I'm telling her, do you want to go to, do you want to eat something? What do you want to eat? Or, like a baby. You have to treat her like a baby. Unfortunately. I can't talk to her about, what's on TV, or if something's outside. For example, if it's raining, I'll tell her, look, Alexa, it's raining. And she'll say, Mom, raining. Mom, rain. Like, I'll ask her things, and she'll answer in her way. Mm-hmm. Words she does know? The what? Sorry? So there's certain words that she can say? Some words she can. She could say it. Some words, and let me show you where she is right now. She loves her dolls. She loves. Let me show you so you could take a little hint of what I'm talking about. Alexa, say hi. Hi. Say hi, Alexa. Say hi. Hi. See? That's how she talks. That's, she won't say anything else. Like, how are you? Say hi. Look, her ring. See? Look at her ring. See, that's how she, we can't ask so much from her, but that's how I'm living with her, What were some of the early signs or symptoms that led you to seek a diagnosis? Well, her syndrome, she doesn't have any, except for the diagnosis, she hasn't had anything. We haven't had to go to the hospital, or she hasn't had to go, anything according to, no, she's nothing. Thankfully, we've been blessed, and no. It's only her eyes that have, that she's dislocated, her. But everything else, she's good. She will never be, obviously, going to college, she finishes, she goes to an ADT program. And, they help her there. But that's it. It's been known to cause double vision. No, because when I did I'm telling you, when I did the test on her when she was 8 months, and they did the ophthalmology, the eyes and all that stuff, I saw her eye because they have the screenshot, they take the picture of the eye, the iris, everything was perfect. 3-4 years later, coming up, because she was eating bad. She was even the bungee, when you're jumping, it got everything. It got dislocated. Her lens literally got dislocated. And when she was I don't remember if it was when she was 8 or 10 years old, they told me about when they were starting to operate the eye so you could get, the doctor even told me, they're like, do you want to operate it? but it's still on investigation. It's still not 100%. It's like literally 80-20. And I literally was very scared. I said no, because I don't want I prefer her seeing something than not seeing at all.
So you never did the operation?
No, never. Never did the operation. Her eyes are the same.
How has Alexa's condition affected her daily life? And what are some of the biggest challenges your family faces?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to be a cop? Well, not just any cop, a Texas cop. Well, we have the show for you. TMPA's Blue Grit Podcast, the voice of Texas law enforcement, where we share intense stories, yes, the good ones and the bad ones. We also share information and have good discussions about how we can improve this profession. So what are you waiting for? Grab that gun belt and come ride shotgun with us today. Available on YouTube and where you get your podcast.
Well, her daily life, unfortunately, she's not going to be a regular child. She's not even going to be. She's always going to need someone to help her out with everything. And like, if you put music on her, she'll sing. It's funny because she'll learn the songs, but if you ask her, a color of something, or she won't answer, she doesn't know it. Like she does memorize it, but if you tell her to sing it without the music, she won't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And when she wants something and you do not understand, she will get, she gets, you could say she's like aggressive type, but not to harm anybody, not to harm you, or not to, like, she'll pull you to, somewhere, or to take you where she wants to, what she wants, without being aggressive, I don't.
How do you feel that newborn screening has evolved since Alexa was born, and what improvements do you feel are still needed?
I think we do need a lot.
Since it's born.
I do think that we should do, like, they should be better in the newborn screening since the beginning, because I think that in those 4 years of her first, in her life, they were very crucial. If I think that if they had told me about her syndrome since day one she was born, and we would have had the medication, I think Alexa would have been better, to tell you the truth. I do think it did affect her, not knowing, because unfortunately, they would give her prescriptions. I don't remember the names, but they would give her prescription thinking it was something else back in the days. And you as a mom think that the doctors know what they're talking about and know, it's saddening that we do not, up to this day, we still are having a hard time, and we're still fighting for newborn screening, to go through this. When a lot of parents should be aware, and a lot of people, you try to explain to them, even if you go to a doctor, like a regular doctor that I had to switch, for example, when she would turn 21, that I had to switch from pediatric to a regular doctor. People don't understand that it's very difficult for us. I had to go and I had to fight for her rights. I had to take all her rights away because even in the, it's like, oh, she's already 18, she's 19, she could do, she could say yes or no for everything. And I had to fight, and I've been fighting, and I've been researching a little bit, and I've been, trying to see what we could do here in Miami, here in Florida, what we could do, because unfortunately, like they said, oh, if you were from England, everything, you would have had a better life, or if you were from so-and-so, because they would have discovered it. Why can't we discover? I'm not talking about Mexico because it's like people say, oh, it's a third world country. Mexico is, it's very good. But we're talking about United States, and people, we're still fighting out. We're still fighting, and we're still struggling. Yes, I do. It's like I sometimes get upset about it. I thought I had to do something. It was growing up. When Alexa was growing, I would take her to the beach. A lot of parents, because I'm not talking about children, parents, that they're special. She's a monster. They would call my daughter a monster because she wasn't talking and she wasn't like a regular child. People don't understand how difficult it has been for us parents having a special child. And they would call her four-eyed, they would say a lot of mean things to her. And for me as a mom, that I understood and I understand them, what they were talking about, it was hurting me. Because for her, she doesn't get it. She thinks everybody's nice. She loves everybody. She goes to you and literally hugs you and talks to you. See? Look, Mommy, what's wrong?
What's wrong, Mommy?
I'm talking about you. You know that I'm talking about you, right?
What's wrong, Mommy?
Nothing. Everything's good. Everything's good. Okay?
Okay.
Bye. See, that's how she talks. Yeah. That's how she is. Yeah. So I think the screening, instead of doing it 3 days before people are born, because that's what the doctors told me, that she was still too attached to me when they did the they did the test, that's why it didn't come out. They should do it 15 days or a month later. Or have something for when you're doing the test, these syndromes come up. So for me, it's and yes, I've been, because I'm reading.
For parents whose children were recently diagnosed through newborn screening, what advice or encouragement would you offer based on your experience?
For me, they're like essentials, that's what she eats. But anything else, like the milk, I think there's a cheese right now with it. Anything. You have to calculate the protein. Ask your doctor how much protein could she have per day. How much protein she could, with her protein also having it, how much she could have per day. For me, I think it's 14, a protein per day, or 13. I don't remember right now. I don't have, but I follow like anything that has 2 or less, and that for me works. And that's how I've been able to restore her proteins. So don't go crazy. There are people, that for new parents that are learning about this syndrome and everything, they are help. There's a lot of help. Try to get help by somebody that has already, lived it. And I think having this group helps a lot.
Let's talk about the Medical Nutrition Equity Act. How would the bill affect families like yours in terms of access to necessary medical foods, formula, and vitamins?
Yes, she does. When we went to Boston, I brought the Cambrook, the Cambrook foods that we had bought there. Mm-hmm. I think this is the first year I haven't bought anything, or 2 years, but because it's very difficult for me to get them because I'm, like I said, in Miami, and they're more expensive. Mm-hmm. So, as a single mother, I have to budget everything. So I tried it. She did like it. Some food she did not like, but others she did. Like the pasta. I had a lot of pasta that I brought that she loves pasta. But I've been trying literally, like I said, look for pasta that it's less than 3% or 2% protein.
If the medical foods aren't affordable, have you tried programs like Rare Care by Nord, which offers assistance and financial assistance, and Cambrook Cares, which offers reimbursement for medical foods?
I didn't. To tell you the truth, I haven't done it this year. I haven't done it for the past 2 years because of her levels, but I think if her levels would have been high or something, I would have gone, and seen more of her more of the food type, and see what I can do, and talk to my social worker, and talk to the doctors because at the beginning, literally in Miami, they did help me. The social worker did help me a lot. And we did get food free, from the doctor. We did get the food free. The Cambrook, food to get delivered in my house every month.
So you were able to get it for free?
Yes. But like I said, I've been one of the luckiest, to get it, because I've heard a lot of people that don't have because of their insurance, I thankfully had, a good insurance.
The coverage is in every state, so that's what we're trying to work for. And for the reason and have been for years.
Yeah, like I said, here, thankfully I've been lucky. I think 2 or 3 parents. A year ago, I reached out to a mom that lives here in Miami, and she was trying to get the formula for her child, and I haven't reached out back to her, to tell you the truth. Because I don't want to intrude, to tell you the truth. But it was hard for her because her husband's insurance was not paying for it.
Have you faced any challenges accessing the medical nutrition Alexa needs? Could you share any specific experiences that illustrate the need for this legislation?
You have challenges because sometimes if the cystidane or one of her medications that because I have lived it, that they run out, or because, especially the cystidane, that the doctors weren't giving, not the doctors, the pharmacists were not getting delivered to Miami. They were either sold out or the insurance didn't pay for it, or, it was always something. I went through a lot of, one year was very tough because I wasn't getting her cystidane. I had to be getting a a different one, a genetic one. So it's been like in starting over with Alexa to take it, to drink it, because she has liked it, she has not liked, it depends. But up to right now, it's only been like literally for 6 months that was very tough in her 24 years, but the rest have been very good. Thankfully, I've been lucky. God has given me a lot.
So you
Not right now. I haven't had.
So,
I haven't had any food right now to order.
yeah. So how have sure Alexa gets the best possible care? Any tips?
Something is just day by day. To tell you the truth, we have to every day we wake up, and just pray and say, try to live every moment, every second. We cannot think about in the future. We can't think with these kids. We have to treat them like regular kids. I don't like treating my daughter, any different. I have another one that's 8 years old, and I don't, she's right. She's a normal child. She doesn't have homocystinuria, but I try to give Alexa all my love and the kindness, and just be patient with you, and try and fight for them and be their leadership, be their sponsors, be the moms, be their everything, because these kids can't fight for themselves. Just try your best, and if one door closes, try to open another one. Don't sit around and wait. Do what you can to fight for them, and get their medications, and get their prescriptions, and get the doctors to hear you, because not all doctors know about this. Unfortunately, they say, "Oh, I studied it but never lived it." Nobody really knows what we are going through. I don't know in other countries or in other places, but here in Miami, not a lot of doctors know about this syndrome, and they don't even study it. They don't care about it. They just care about other things, and they just care about the money. But you as a parent have to fight for them. Make them your voice. No, there's not a lot of information. You can't say, that's why it's very frustrating, because one doctor says one thing and another doctor, because they really don't know, and that's what we have to find out. I'm glad there's a lot of research going on right now for this syndrome.
Yeah.
Because for example, right now, like I said, I've been lucky and I've been blessed. Alexa hasn't been, hasn't gone to the hospital. She hasn't had any seizures. She hasn't had any operations. She hasn't had anything, But at the same time, for me, it's very frustrating, because I'm like, okay, I know she has this syndrome, but why can't she talk? Like I see a lot of other kids that do talk, that they do communicate, and that they do regular lives, even though they're maybe 3 or 4, years low than their regular, but literally I get frustrated, and I have to pray, and I'm very Catholic, so I'm sorry. I have to really depend, trust God for all that He gives me. And I've been lucky, and I've been blessed, to tell you the truth, with Alexa.
I proven doctor spread a lot myself, but there is no better feeling.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And I saw it when I went to the conference with Diane that she did in Boston. Like, it was the first time my mom and my sister and I went. And we met a lot of parents and we met a lot of kids with it. It was literally for us an eye-opening, that we could meet people like, in this group and talk different things and talk, and get encouraged by them and see what you guys are doing, and people to find out what this syndrome really is about.
What role do clinical trials or research play in the treatment of classical homocystinuria, and how have you ever explored those options for Alexa? I'm in a clinical trial through Travere Therapeutics. It goes through Science 37, and they have a nurse come here between 2 and 3 times a week. Twice a week I'd get a shot, and they do other things also, but it is a clinical trial for a new drug called pegtibatinase that is looking promising on the market and probably will go out. It's already being tested in children.
When my appointment comes, I think I have to see her doctor, because normally I see them every 6 months now. And as soon as I see them, and I'll talk to them and we'll talk about the pros and the cons that it could help, And yes, of course.
Looking back on your journey, what have been some of the most important lessons or moments of growth for both you and Alexa?
The good moments that I've had is, just having her and enjoying her and going through this journey with her, with the medications. And then, thankfully, Alexa's not picky, so I could give her, even when she was 4 years old, she would eat the lettuce. She would eat all her vegetables. I've been lucky in that situation. That she likes everything that I've given her. And they tell me, well, I've never given her up to right now, like from 4 years old to now, she hasn't tasted meat or fish or chicken. Mm-hmm. So I can't. That's my only struggle. But everything else, we have been good. We have been blessed with it. Going through everyday life and enjoying, and little by little, little steps.
Finally, what are your hopes for the future for Alexa, for the homocystinuria community, and for families like yours?
I hope, like I said before, I hope there's a lot of, doctors really get to know the syndrome. And not, unfortunately, like you said, there's not a lot out there, not 20 years ago. Today, there's better things because we have more computers, we have more updates, but more, more research, more things to understand for us parents that we do not talk medical wise. We don't understand some terms. To have patience with us, because here, like I've seen, a lot of parents just go to the doctor and they're like, oh yeah, your daughter has this and this, and that's it. Bye. 30 minutes up, that's your appointment. A lot of moms, newbies, mm-hmm. That worry and that we don't understand. Have patience with us, be patient. be careful, and don't tell us, that we can't do something, and don't tell us that our kids are going to be not able to do a lot of things. We do need more research. We do need more help, and we do need more, like, the medication for them, and the food. Not only, like I said, for me it had been a struggle. That's why, to tell you the truth, I quit calling Cambrook to get the food here, because for me sometimes it was not if I needed it for next month, I couldn't get that food. It was a struggle. So I had to think of something else. Like, we do need more of these, like, up down here, or another place we could get it, faster. And that's what I could recommend. That's my opinion.
So, thank you so much, Erika, for joining us today. Let's see. So, to all our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rare Chef, and also the podcast Rare Connection. I do cooking videos on YouTube also. It's been a while, but I had to do them. So if you're listening to the audio version, you can also text me through the link in the show notes, which will be recorded afterwards. Additionally, I'm actively looking for board members to join my nonprofit under Rare Connection. Also, I'm seeking volunteers who are willing to commit to at least a year and have leadership experience and fundraising experience. Public speaking is also a plus.
Yes.
Let's see. While this is an unpaid position, it is a wonderful opportunity to gain valuable experience, especially if you have been out of work for a while. Before we wrap up, I want to talk a moment to share some important information about suicide prevention. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline you can text 988. Call or text 988. The Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Please don't hesitate to ask for support. Thank you again and for listening, and until next time, take care and stay connected. Thanks.
Thank you very much for everything. Bye-bye.
Sure.